exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, JioSaavn, and many, many more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip on this show, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. Why not 100% of the time? Because if you were happy 100% of the time, you'd be dead. We don't want to see dead people walking or talking. That's why it's 88%. 8 is also a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. So ba is 8 and fa is good fortune. So double good fortune is your birthright. And that is my message, and I'm sticking to it. This is show number 905. I celebrated show 900 last week on my special series on Friday, Tempting Conversations with Temptations founder, daughter, Elan Carter, and the good doctor, Michael Obeng, who is the founder and the reconstructive surgeon that goes to different countries and helps those who cannot pay for things like the giant ulcers on their face and tumors or the cleft lips, or as you will see today, the case of a beautiful woman whose face was completely caved in, and I got to meet her, and it was an honor at that event. So that's what today's show is about. It's hashtag Dr. Marissa reporting live. And one of the occupational hazards of being a broadcast journalist, broadcast reporter, is that I get to meet super interesting people everywhere I travel, especially when I'm on stages speaking, and the fellow speakers that I get to meet and then interview. And so I love to bring those onto the show. And of course, onto my free subscribe YouTube channel that I know some of you are eyeballing me right now on my live or love streaming platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then Dr. Marissa Central, my YouTube channel, which thanks to you, 286,000 views now, I believe. And I'm very grateful that this show that's coming up on 11 years, May 1st, that y'all were wrong who said that a show about hope and happiness with no scandal, with no political rhetoric would last. And I'm glad you're wrong. Not just because I enjoy being right. I'm trying to curb that, but it does always feel better when you're right. But that is one of the things that actually came about. If you missed Friday, I did my monthly Get Happy Hour, and was happy to have some people streaming and answered some questions about how you can be happy now, even if you've had trauma in your past and your coping mechanisms are getting in your way now. So make sure you go take a listen to that. Now, it is Monday. Rainy days and Mondays always get me up. Hashtag UP. Unlimited possibilities is the theme for this year. And it's not raining. And that's my first gratitude, even though we need the rain in California. I am starting my breakfast with you this morning, the gratitude sandwich, which y'all know is part of my regular thing to help us all develop the muscle to wake up and be grateful. 8 specific things that you're grateful for that are outside of you, and then 8 specific things that you appreciate about yourself. And I'm modeling that for you. Usually do that right before you go to bed. And the reason why we do that is instead of going to bed and having a hard time falling asleep because you're thinking about all the things you didn't do, all the things that were wrong, who done you wrong, how many people like you literally with social media. Instead, you are affirming yourself. And I believe that mental health starts with self-care. And if you know who you are, 88% perfect, I call myself imperfectly perfect, then you're most likely going to fall asleep with a smile on your face instead of stressed and tossing and turning, which is an epidemic right now. So try that before you try popping some sleep pills that do have side effects. All right, so let's get started. I'm grateful, I did the one, that it's sunny outside today. I am grateful that I have the ability to speak on stages. I am grateful that I love meeting interesting people and everywhere I go, and people who are household names that whose backstory you may not know. I am grateful that I get to walk the red carpet as well as cover the red carpet. I am grateful that there are great organizations like Restore that are helping individuals who can't afford to be helped. I'm grateful that there are organizations like Secret Knock that my friend Greg Reed is that he founded and brings us really interesting people on stage. I'm grateful that my first day when I got to San Diego after flying in from Toronto, I was greeted by a giant hug by Greg's son, Colt Reed, who is just a delight and didn't fall far from his father's tree. And finally, for friends who are here to buoy me up sometimes when I'm not feeling as good as I could, and realizing that I do not have to live on a desert island, that I do have wonderful things. And I'll be specific because those I tell people the more specific you can get, the more gratitude is enhanced. So I'll just say Elan Carter, my my co-host on Friday, is a wonderful friend, and it was wonderful spending time with her and her family at the event on Saturday. All right. Okay, so that's the top of the bun. The bottom of the bun is, what do I appreciate about myself? So I appreciate that I am persistent, sometimes to the point of OCD, but oh well, it's a process. I spent from 7 o'clock last night trying to upload videos for you this morning, different ways, through Google Drive, through AirDrop, through AirPlay, through compression, through YouTube. And I was not successful, but we're just going to do the best that we can this morning. And I'm not beating myself up. That's 2. I appreciate that I've learned that I just do the best that I can with the time that I have and the resources I have. And that's the best that I can do. 3, that there's, I am creative and I can be innovative in the ways that I try to problem solve. 4, that I love to learn new things, and learning new apps and new computer savvy things that I don't know about. I appreciate that I am quick to laugh and quick to cry. That's 2. Tears are the disinfectant that keep my heart soft. So that's a good thing about crying, and laughter is my favorite sound on the planet. And I see people coming in, and welcome to the show, and feel free to put comments up. Oh, I see a comment. See if anybody's playing gratitude with me. It's Raya. Hey, I left a message for you and I didn't hear back. So we'll just let me know how long you can stay. And Fry was with me on my Get Happy Hour, and he put up a question about his love life or relationship life or dating, and we didn't have time to answer it. And normally on Mondays, I do life balance coaching, happiness coaching on a volunteers hashtag victim. And today I decided not to do that because I had Dr. Mercer reporting live. But as I was just mentioning, I had a heck of a time trying to upload. So I don't know if playing it from my phone, I know you'll be able to hear it. You won't be able to see it very well. But if Friel has more time, then we will get to his question and do a little half and half of the show with both Life Balance Coaching and Dr. Mercer Reporting Live. And finally, I appreciate that let's see, I'm steadfast. So show 905 is pretty mind-boggling, actually, that I've been doing this for almost 11 years. And thanks to my station owner who promoted me during COVID from a once a week to a every weekday morning at 8, that I have been able to continue that for the last, 2 years it's been since COVID. I'm running it, actually almost 3. Time flies. I am definitely having fun. So that is it for my 8 gratitudes and 8 appreciations that sandwich your day in the most positive way. I would challenge you all to do that for the next 28 days and see if you can't feel better without taking a pill and without even I don't want to knock coaches and therapists because I am one, but sometimes you are the one that can help yourself the most. And so with the gratitude sandwich, we start with that. All right. So that is the part of, okay, he's busy with work. How much time do you have today? And that will gauge what I do. I am going to try to show you these videos and see how they come off. And if they don't come off well, then we'll go to the coaching. All right. So I got to go to Secret Knock, which is Yahoo Finance #1 event of the year, not to miss. Fortune magazine, Inc. magazine. It's been going on for many years. I'm trying to remember how many. I've been going 7-8 years. I've been a speaker on stage. I cover his red carpet. I get to interview fascinating people. This last year was Carol Baskin from Tiger King and Bailiff Bird from Judge Judy. This year was Larry Kasanoff, who is the producer behind Terminator 2, Mortal Kombat, Dirty Dancing. I got an interview with him. Dr. John Gray, who was on my show twice already. He's going to come to my studio live again. Sometime in April. We're working out the date now. So I got to go straight there and listen to them talk on stage. And I put together a 40-minute video that is stuck in my phone. I should do one of those commercials. But I'm going to play it from my iMovie and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, well, it's going to work. This is going to be the best that I can do. And I will try maybe to put the camera straight on the phone. But hi, good morning, Ismael Cortez, who is tuning in from Riverside. I think Fry's out of state. And I'm glad that you're here all and that you will enjoy these speakers that I got to hear on stage. And let's see what we can do. Let's see.
By the way, most of the people we were talking about thought it was never going to work. You don't get your free
Okay, this is not as loud as I want it to be. So let's see. And okay.
By the way, most of the people when we were talking about
It is loudest it can be.
everybody around
It was louder just a minute ago.
thought it was never going to work. You don't get your free
Oh, I know. It's because I'm on the phone with Polly, my sound engineer. Polly, I'm just going to hang up on you, and you can text me when I'm running out of time. All right, here we go. Oh, Fry TV is from Texas. I didn't want to say it if you didn't want me to. All right, let's see if this is going to work. There we go.
funny story.
I knew there was. All right, here we go.
Everybody thought it was a bad idea because they weren't the customer. They were proximity. And one day a Wall Street Journal reporter called me. And this guy said to me, he said, what are you working on now? He followed my career. And I told him, and he said, that's a pretty good idea. I said, okay, whatever. And I said, can I ask you a question? He said, what? I said, what do you make? About 150 grand a year, right? Being a reporter for the Wall Street Journal? He said, something like that. I said, well, it's interesting. And I pretended to shuffle papers. And I said, because our total marketing budget for you and everybody like you is, oh, here it is, $0. I said, I don't even have to slightly care what you think. You're so far outside of relevance for me.
This is Jeff Hoffman, who is the co-founder of Priceline.
Sometime later, not very long, like 2 years, my phone rings and my assistants, we've taken the company public. She's like, it's some reporter from the Wall Street Journal. And I picked up the phone and I said, what can I help you with? And the person said, I just called to congratulate the team at Priceline. I said, about what? And guys, I know this is silly. I told you I'm not a materialistic person. But he said, we were the third, when we went public, we were the third largest IPO in the history of the stock market. We were the fastest company ever to $10 billion in value 11 months after we started the company. So again, those aren't the things that matter, but they do in the business world to people. Anyway, he said, I was just doing the math. And he said, your startup company is now worth more than all the airlines in the entire United States combined. And I stopped and I pulled it up and I was like, oh my God, we could buy all the airlines right now. And I said, not bad for a stupid idea, is it? And he said, what? And I said, you and I talked just about 20 months ago and you told me how stupid this was. And he said, I never said that. I said, whatever. Relevance sort of is what matters. And I'm flying along, and the car is so loud. And then something really interesting happened. I hit 130 miles an hour, and the car went off. It went dead silent. And I was like, oh, my God, I worked all these years to get this car, and I just broke it. Right? And it's dead silent, and I don't know what's going on. So I push it a little more. At 140, it gets loud again. I did 150, I shouldn't admit this, but at about 180, I chickened out. And what happened was I finally passed a car and he never saw me. He changed lanes right in front of me. And I literally, almost lost it. The car almost on its own went around him, but my heart was like thumping, so I got off the gas at like 180. I get back home and I'm thinking, what happened? Why is the car so loud at 110, 120, 130? And at 130, it's silent. So I call the Ferrari people. And I explained to them what happened. I said, I'm driving this car, and at 130 miles an hour, it went dead silent. What did I do wrong? And the engineers, these cars are hand-built, so you actually get to talk to the people that build your car. So he knew what he was talking about. And he said, "Oh, Mr. Hoffman," he said, "I know exactly what happened." And I said, "What?" And he said, "The car hit resonant frequency." And I said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Jeff, we designed that car to cruise at 130 miles an hour." He said, "When your car is at 130, he said every gear, every piston, every piece of that car is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The car is in perfect harmony. We call that resonant frequency." And I hung up the phone and I asked a question I'm going to ask you to myself. I said, "Resonant frequency, huh? What's mine? What is the combination of things in your life that you will wake up one morning and say, I am exactly where I am supposed to be in the world, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with exactly the people I'm supposed to be in? What is your resonant frequency?" So I'm going to tell you something that I came up with to do. It was the first time I was ever really conscious of that. Everyone's asking about balance, right? And everybody's trying to achieve it. And I started looking and I said, we have a perfect model, a cockpit, a dashboard of a car. That's all about balance, getting everything into resonant frequency, the cockpit of an airplane. So I went home, and I'll challenge you to do this. I went home and I created my own dashboard. I took out a pencil and again, same question to you guys. What are the gears of your engine? Okay, what I mean by that is what is the list of things you have to get right so you will wake up one day, because I don't want this to sound wrong, but I actually really like my life right now, okay? And sometimes I feel bad when I say that to people, but I hit a point where I don't want to trade my life with, I don't want to be someone else. I'm okay with where I am. Do I have problems? Yes. Am I getting everything right? No. But you know what? I'll take it. Okay? And the reason that I got to that point was I made this list. So what I want you to do is make a list of the gears of the engine of your life. So for example, I wrote down financial health. That counts. I wrote down physical health. I wrote down spiritual health, emotional health. Then I wrote down relationship with parents. Then if you have a significant other, your personal relationship. Then I wrote down friendships and my relationships with friends. Okay, I wrote down all the gears of my life, and I visually put each of these things, like they were the dashboard of my car, on the wall in my office. And when I walk in the day, you only need 3 colors, red, yellow, and green, right? And when I walk in, at any given time, I look, and let's just say you just sold a company. Your financial health gauge is green, but you also yelled at your mom 2 weeks ago and you have not apologized. Your parent gauge is red. So you know what you're going to do today? You're going to walk out of the office, set business aside, and go spend the day with your mom, right? And the truth is, and then you look at your friend gauge, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been traveling so much. You know what? I'm going to call my friends and take everybody on a trip this weekend, or whatever it is. You will never achieve balance. You will never achieve perfection. But you know what? If you give yourself permission to be good enough, it's a pretty damn good life, okay? People know you care because you call and say, you don't have to say this because it's weird. I was looking at my friend gauge, right? You are looking at that. I visually look at it and I ask myself regularly, what's red in my life, what's green and what's yellow, and I know what I'm doing right now. And I constantly bounce between those things, and I never get it right, but everybody knows I'm at least trying, and it matters to me because I see it all the time, and I call, and I say, hey man, I feel like I've been neglecting this, let's go do this. Or there's a time in your life you just had a new kid, you need a bigger house, and it's okay for you to tell your friends, I really need a bigger house, I'm going to apologize in advance, I'm not going to be a good friend the rest of this year because I got to make this down payment. It's okay because you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you know what's going to suffer for it, and you call those people and you talk to them. So I have a dashboard on my wall. I look at it every single week and I adjust my priorities week by week, and I accept the fact that if I'm trying my best and doing good enough, everybody else will accept that too. So I just want to end there. I want you guys to think about this. Oh, by the way, some of my favorite calls ever is when people call me and say, I think I finally hit my resonant frequency. That's the coolest call ever. Wow. When people call and say, I listened to it, I made adjustments in my life, and I actually feel.
Isn't that brilliant? Jeff Hoffman, I have an interview with him on Celebrity playlist.
Someone without thinking you got to get something in return.
would say to her, if she were here now, is thank you. Thank you for believing in me until I could believe in myself.
These are words for his grandmother.
Until I could discover what strength looked like. Thank you for loving me until I learned to love myself. Thank you for being my partner. Even out of sight, I still work based on the principles. Like what you do here, you've instilled values.
And good afternoon, this is Dr. Marissa reporting live at Secret Knock here in San Diego. And I have here a very short guy, sarcasm is another service I offer, but I was so impressed with his presentation on stage. I wanted to introduce you to him as a little promo. He will be coming for a full interview on the show, but we're going to use this. I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. And when you call Dr. Marissa, it says, who are you and what do you want? So who are you and what do you want?
I'm Superman is for real. I'm James Dickson. I'm an amputee who found out that what I lost as a limb gave me a purpose in life. And I share that passion with everyone.
Beautiful. And the story is heart-wrenching of just the way that you got into the hospital. You know they were going to take your leg off. And then your mom, in a well-meaning, more mean than well way, told you the words she said were,
"You're crippled." And with that, she was defining what she thought would be my life. And that became the motivator for my life to prove them all wrong.
And you'll be on the show. What do you say to people who feel like they'll never be healed or never have enough to feel good about themselves?
The only never that exists is that if you don't open up and share your passion and share your pain, share what you've been through, there are people who will never know that they're not alone. Speak up, share your passion, share your pain, and understand that that can be the pathway to your purpose.
Thank you so much. I do this at the end of every show.
He's so awesome.
Peace in, peace out, world peace, through inner peace.
He's actually
Marissa reporting live at Secret Knock in San Diego. Always try to balance out the bad news with some good news. Asian Oprah wanting you to have the best day ever.
he's got such a great smile. This is Dr. John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Instead of responding back with your idea, instead say, help me understand that better. It's $1 million phrase. Help me understand that better. And then she's talking for a while, she'll pause. Well, tell me more. And she'll have more to say. It's surprising how much more women can say. And when all is said and done, you stand there, you haven't said much, except ask questions, nod your head, make noises. When all is said and done, then you say, and what else? And a surprise will come. This is all to produce estrogen in women. It's basically because they go, I'm not interested. Why are we having this conversation? Chit chat doesn't make any sense to me. What's the big deal? The big deal is estrogen. Estrogen goes up, you've got a screaming woman in the bedroom. It's true. And you're thinking it, but you don't need to say it. Say it. And what you need to say is something like this. What a good idea. Even if it's your idea. Even if it's your idea, that's right. What a good idea. Another one is, that makes sense. When you say to a man, that makes sense, immediately his posture will change. His energy, his chest will flare. Right. I can think. If you want to ask him what do you think, don't ask him what you feel.
Right, because, and especially if they're right-handed male, they think and do.
This is Dr. John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And he'll be coming on live again. But he is very, very smart. He's talking about how women can have men attracted to them.
Particularly for successful women, how do you get back to your female side? Powerful estrogen gets produced when a man you say. So, men, when she's talking, instead of responding back with your idea, instead say, help me understand that better. It's $1 million phrase. Help me understand that better. And then she's talking for a while, she'll pause. Well, tell me more. And she'll have more to say. It's surprising how much more women can say. It would just and then when all is said and done, you stand there, you haven't said much.
All right.
Nod your head, make noises. When all is said and done, then you
If
say,
we that part, let's see.
it starts coming down to baseline. It doesn't go low right away. It just goes down to baseline.
All right. Oops, sorry.
But the science show that if the man has sex on Saturday night, goes down baseline, then if he has sex again or masturbates, he releases his ejaculate. During the week, let's say on Tuesday or Wednesday, have sex.
Dr. John Gray is talking about hormones, the difference in men and women.
His testosterone levels are at baseline. If he goes for 6 days without ejaculating, on the 7th day when he wakes up, he's not at baseline. His testosterone levels are 50% higher than baseline. And if you consistently keep it at 50% higher, what happens is you don't decline over the years. And that's the benefit. That doesn't mean you have to follow this rule rigorously, but it does mean that, like, you're on a weekend vacation, you're going to have sex a bunch of times because she's have everybody taking care of her. That's the best time to have sex with a woman because her estrogen levels up. She doesn't have to worry about the bed sheets. She doesn't have to worry about cleaning anything. She doesn't have to worry about cooking anybody. It's like everybody's taking care of her. What does that produce? Estrogen. This could be a great commercial for going on a cruise. Everything going on a cruise. You know, you have to think about anything. So that will help raise estrogen in the woman. And then, of course, when her estrogen goes up, he's all hot and excited too. So that's all good sex knowledge. But the bottom line is it's a routine. A lot of couples feel a pressure to have sex twice a week. I certainly did in the beginning years of our marriage. And I didn't have this science. Because people would say, well, how often you teach sex? How often do you have sex? And I said, well, about once a week. I had a job, working, whatever, but the sex was great. Well, now I know why the sex was great and lasted a lifetime, because I didn't buy into the pressure. But certainly I had sex more than once a week sometimes. But we should know it's a regular thing, and for couples who stop having sex, you need to come back and start having sex once a week. And
You know, Dr. Drew used to tell me that
there's so much out there, but nobody puts it in this context. But here's one simple study. If you measure all these big studies on testosterone levels in men, and they see that the men for their age group have the highest testosterone levels are single guys. The next lowest level is guys in a committed relationship with a woman. The next lowest level is married men to a woman. And the next lowest level is fathers with daughters, with children. And the next lowest level is grandfathers if they're still alive. Why? Because the more love you have in your life, that love is estrogen. And so in a relationship where you love your wife, it's destined that your testosterone level is going to go down unless she's telling you every day, well, that makes sense, honey. That's a good idea, honey. I love you so much, honey. I'm so lucky to be with you. And one other tip for the bedroom, I know they want to cut us off here.
I know.
They might do.
No,
Both Patty and John Gray are going to be at the
7:30
lounge tonight too.
Yeah.
I got it.
Let him just wrap up.
Wrap up.
Yeah.
Because we did talk about sex. I was going to talk about other things as well, but such a sexy woman, we're going to say.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Now, the next thing is, a lot of these California guys, and probably the guys in Florida, you'll have to tell me.
When I go back there, yeah.
Are they quiet when they have sex?
My last boyfriend was not quiet. So.
What kind of noises did he make?
He made, he like really lost it. Like he was going to a spaceship. Yeah, he like lost it. Another time, my ex-boyfriend before that, quiet as a mouse. Like in, remember that movie Frankie and Johnny where he was in prison and he couldn't make any noise like that?
Anyway.
I have
3 acres around my house. Otherwise, the police would come every day.
He's 71 years old.
That comes later in the multi-orgasmic stage. Okay, you've got your basic cells. I'm not going to make it here. But please don't. But here's when you're connecting with your partner. I'm talking about you in a committed, loving relationship. What most people don't know is that women love being acknowledged, affirmed during that time verbally. They're getting touched. She's touching, but also words. So here's things you can say while you're having sex with your partner that nobody ever taught you was a good thing to do. I'm so lucky to be married to you. You are the most beautiful woman in the world. I will always love you. I think about you all the time. When you were away, I missed you so much.
I don't know, bro. If you're dating a woman and you're like, how many of you would like to hear that during sex? None of it. What are you doing? I'm just kidding. Do you have a vagina?
Okay. All right, we're gonna fast forward this to let's see, what do we got next? All right, that's so John Gray will be on live. We're working this out.
Reporting live at the Secret Knock this year, and I have the hit of the event. He spoke before lunch, absolutely phenomenal. And the best part is, Dr. John Gray, best-selling author of so many books, Men Are for Mars, Women Are for Venus, so was his first big hit. He actually has already been on my show twice, and he just agreed to come on a third time when I have cameras in my studio now. So what do you have to say to that?
I'm holding Dr. Marissa's book, Eight Ways to Be Happy, from wherever you are. And so my books will also help you be happy in a marriage for the rest of your life. These are some wonderful things to learn from my books. I'm very happy to be with you again. We've done several interviews.
I'm so delighted. So what would you say to anyone who feels like they're past the prime of having a really hot relationship?
I know several of my friends. I'm 71, but my ones are like 68, 69. Two of my students, their hot girlfriends are 78 and 76. And they're having a hot time together. It's amazing. It's just learning the skills of how to create more estrogen in a woman's body and testosterone in a man's body through communication. And that's what I'm focusing on these days. And beyond the Mars and Venus. Because as we get older, women develop more their masculine side naturally, and men develop more their female side naturally. But there's ways to pump up his male side and pump up her female side in the way we communicate.
And that's what he's going to be talking about on my show very soon when we schedule it. And his iron penis, which he talked about. I'm showing the clip on that. And you get this one to set me up because I am single. And I would love to be matched with one of your students because it's all about raising the woman.
Satisfying a woman's needs. Understanding it's easier than what you're doing now. Most men don't realize, understand women's biology and physiology, and women don't always understand a man. So how can we communicate in a way that pumps up the right hormones? And that's possible.
Wonderful. Can't wait to have you on. I do this at the end of every show. I think you might remember. Peace in, peace out, world peace through energy. I knew you would. I knew you would. Thank you so much. Now go and have the best day ever. Yeah, I met, I keep meeting some fabulous people. His name is apparently the Evil Larry. I do not know how he got that name.
It's only the fancy move from Larry Nader, who's trying to up his reputation.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. And Larry's been
out of jail. He has a lot of.
Well, Larry's been on my show, Larry Namer, and I asked for a little time with the. You just said not evil, but the wicked.
How about
I was talented, amazing, one of a kind, wonderful Larry, and we just found out
We have people in common. He just is on his way to do a documentary, or you finished a documentary.
I made a documentary a few years ago called Mindfulness, Be Happy Now, based on the teachings of a great Buddhist monk named Thich Nhat Hanh, who passed away a year ago.
Yes, and I'm just delighted. You may know him from some of his movies. You want to name drop? Dirty Dancing, I heard from
Dirty Dancing, Terminator 2, True Lies, Mortal Kombat, Lego Star Wars, Platoon.
Just little films. Sarcasm is another service I offer. But I'm going to do this. I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine.
Go ahead. I'm
and
ready.
When you call me, it says, who are you and what do you want? So, Larry, the amazing, wonderful, one-of-a-kind, fabulous, who are you and what do you want?
Well, I'm a movie producer. I'm also a recent author. I just wrote a book called A Touch of the Madness, which comes out in September. And I make animated movies as well, and I make theme park rides. And what I want is to keep making, hopefully, wonderful movies, animated movies, and theme park rides, and hopefully write a book. I like creating great entertainment.
You said some things from Greg's stage about the no such thing as overnight success, no such thing as, always having a great idea.
I don't think that was me.
Oh, was
Maybe that was somebody else.
there were a lot of people on stage that day. Forgive my confusion, but I just flew in from Toronto, so that's, and I know that you're on your way. But what would you say the top reason why some people are successful and other people are not successful?
One reason: persistence. Never, ever, 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 ever giving up. Grit, persistence, perseverance. That's it. That's the difference. Talent's half the battle. We meet so many talented people who don't make it because they give up. That's it.
The voice in our head that tells us we're not good enough, we're really not all of that. Do you have that voice? And if you do, how have you been able to not listen to it?
I sort of have the opposite voice, where my problem is I think all my ideas are brilliant. I can't fathom how someone doesn't agree with me. Not that I'm always right, but I do think that. I think you have to be in love with your own idea. In the book that's coming out, I talk about once you grab an idea, you can't let it go. And you have to believe it's the greatest idea in the world. And then every time you pitch it, every time you sell it, every time you raise money for it, or do whatever you have to do to implement your idea, it makes you a little happy because you like talking about it. I always know if a movie that we're pitching is good, because if I like talking about it, I can talk about it 1,000 times or as long as it takes to get it made. If I don't like talking about it, I get a funny little feeling and I don't enjoy it. So if you love it, you just can never stop. But it's all you got.
Interesting. Favorite movie that you've made?
My next one.
Good answer. Good answer. You do practice what you teach. I love the fact that you are the symbol of, Hollywood, producing all of the side that has been in the negative news, of course, with Harvey and all of that crap. And you practice mindfulness. So help me understand the journey into that.
So
This is a
very
great
fortunate.
story.
I make these series of movies and TV shows called Mortal Kombat. And I've been making them for years and years and years. It was the first ever hit movie from a video game. Everyone told me I was crazy. And I was looking for inspiration for a character in one of our Mortal Kombat movies. So I called a revered Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. I called a peaceful Zen master Buddhist monk to ask him about Mortal Kombat, the most, very action-packed, violent movie. And I went to meet him because I thought he'd be good inspiration for one of the characters. After 2 hours of spending time with Thich Nhat Hanh and his monks and nuns, I felt like I'd been on vacation for a week. And I said, "What's your secret?" And he said, "No secret, practice." And I said, "You mean," because I'm kind of frantic, I said, "You mean I could learn to be like this?" And he said, "Yeah, practice." And we became great friends. And I went with him all over the world, and I started practicing mindfulness. And he asked me to make this documentary.
Wow, I love the story.
Is when I called a revered peaceful Buddhist monk to be involved in Mortal Kombat. He didn't get involved in Mortal Kombat, but I got involved in mindfulness.
Wow, I love how those tables turned. I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy, but I do this at the end of every show. It's a peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live.
with a great producer practicing mindfulness. So there's a commercial to do your meditation for the day.
Larry Kasanoff. This is Greg's son, Colt, who is my favorite bump partner. And here's some people you may recognize. Cynthia Kahi, on stage. Cynthia Kahi was my co-host on Fridays. There's Men in Uniform, the San Diego Firefighters. There's the founder of Secret Knock, Greg Reed. There's me dancing like a fool. My dancing queen things. Let's see if we have, we're coming up. We have 9 minutes left. So now this was an event called Restore. Dr. Obeng does reconstructive surgery. And this was at the Beverly Hilton. There's Elan Carter. Her son, my darling musical inspiration was Trace Austin. He was a performer at the event. There you can see. And here's the one that I really, actually, this one I could not get to upload, but 2 actors. I'm going to put that on my red carpet playlist. Tian Richards and Mike Merril. So this incredible woman is her. And I'm so grateful to have gotten to meet her at the event. And Dr. Obeng's interview. This will all be on my red carpet playlist. Let's see what else we've got here. I was hoping to give you some of the, let's see. We'll do this another way. Let's see. Good thing is I can move the camera around here. We're back here. All right. So that was, hopefully you enjoyed that. It was not perfect. I could not get it to upload for the life of me since 7 p.m. last night. Tried all different kinds of ways. But the Larry Kasanoff and Larry Namer, came on the show before with his son, Johnny. Go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe to see that. But both of them, Larry and Larry, were on stage. They were one of the first speakers. And it was so interesting to hear them talk about what it is to make a success out of their work. So let's see if I can find it. Nope, that's not it. I just love being able to. Okay, is this it? Yes, this is it. All right, let's see if we can't get this.
What is obvious later isn't obvious at the time, right? And everyone shows up to be your friend after 3.5 years you launch, and you're in 14 different countries, but effectively, Larry got no a bunch of times. The founder of Blackstone left Lehman.
Talk about, you see things like this and talk about, yeah, it's great. I mean, this movie started this network, but they don't all work. I mean, a lot of stuff just doesn't work, and it flops and fails. And you just, we do a lot of martial arts stuff, and there's a great expression in martial arts, how you punch is.
That's Larry Kasanoff, the one I just interviewed.
And that's what you keep learning.
What was the biggest flop? Like the one that the one you lost your ass on?
I don't remember. I put it out of my mind.
Good answer.
In all seriousness, I really don't. I mean, I think of it like a game, and you think, okay, let's say you're a quarterback of a football game, and you have a bad Sunday. Well, the next Sunday is a new Sunday. And dwelling on the past, unless you can learn something, isn't really going to help you. Some just don't work. Some, the one that I most remember wasn't mine, actually. We were about to invest in a movie that Fox was making called Space Camp. and it was going to be the movie of the summer. You know, there is a real NASA space camp, and we were all about to do it. And the movie had been shot already, and we were going to pay for half of it, and then the Challenger blew up. And obviously a terrible tragedy, but then you think, well, what do you do? I mean, this isn't so fun anymore. And for the Fox people, you understood, well, what a horrible thing. And then that made me think, be careful about doing movies about special events. I did actually eventually invest in it. And we, you know, sort of made a little money, but not really. But you realize you just never know what can you do in situations like that. You just got to move on and move on and move on.
Did you ever pass on one like Larry over here passed on Ryan Seacrest?
So mine is in college I had a job as an intern at HBO. I was in the film programming department, and part of my job was to pick music videos for HBO. And so I had to review music videos and look for new talent. And I found this guy named Prince, and I wrote this music video saying, "No talent, this guy will never work."
Yeah, that was super interesting. And the video that I will put on my social media on YouTube on the Red Carpet playlist is the one where they talk about there's no such thing as overnight success. And I think that is such a... You know, the thing about Secret Knock is they bring people in, or Greg brings people in, who are so, let's see, if this is the one.
It's the big. I think if you watch the Larry Namer story or others like him, what is obvious later isn't obvious at the time, right? And everyone shows up to be your friend after 3.5 years. You launch and you're in 14 different countries, but effectively, Larry got no a bunch of times. The founder of Blackstone left Lehman Brothers with Pete Peterson. They did 400 pitches before they raised any money, and they left to very successful roles. You got to know what you want to do, and you got to stick to it. I think Larry, 3.5 years into it, when did you know you were going to get the money?
Well,
This is Larry Namer, the co-founder of Entertainment.
Company that Larry worked for, loved it. When I pitched him, and we spent 3.5 months or 4 months in due diligence, and then he finally went. He said, "I just need to present it to my boss, and everything's good. We'll fund you." And he presented it to Larry's boss, and which was also his boss, who basically looked and said, "This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard." No. And that kind of killed it. But we realized, my partner Alan and I, we snuck onto a first class in our plane, and we met this guy and said, "Oh, what is that, businessman you guys are holding?" And we told him, he said, "It's brilliant. What are you guys doing?" We said, "We have no money." He said, "Oh, I know somebody you should go talk to." And he gave us a name, and we went there. This is after 3.5 years, and God knows how many people say no, including one venture capital firm where the guy looked at it and said, "How dare you bring me something so stupid?" and threw the business plan at my head. But we went to this person that he...
And I'm out of time, so I can't play you the rest, but all of this will be somehow uploaded onto my YouTube channel. I literally spent since 7 o'clock last night trying to get this all in a format that you could see it. That wasn't the Band-Aid approach, but hopefully you still enjoyed the content. And I know that Ishmael and Fry TV definitely did. And thank you for just staying on. I see the eyeballs, and always enjoy and appreciate the support that you have for me and the topics that I bring you. And hopefully that was interesting for you. You learned something. The bottom line for that, those particular series of, thank you, Fry. You can help me with the technical. I should have contacted you. But anyways, hopefully you got the gist of persistence and love your ideas, love what you can do, love your unique talents, gifts, and ability. Everybody has them. And I hope you got that message. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room, and knowing that it is all about balance. Keep it tuned. Tomorrow's show, I will have the mother from E.T. D. Wallace here live in studio. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.